Hello, I hope you are well. Welcome to another channeling video. I did want this video out earlier, but unfortunately we've got an outage in the Sky broadband in this area, which they are rushing to fix, and it has been very annoying because I just can't upload anything. At least the TV hasn't switched off. Never mind. So yeah, so as soon as that gets corrected, this video will be up. So I apologize. If I haven't said already, it's going to be in two parts. I've started this video a couple of times. It's going to be in two parts because there's quite a lot to get through. So this will be part one. Okay, thank you for all of your support with my channel, and I'm very appreciative of it. It's as I keep saying, it's really supporting me and giving me the courage to do these videos, so thank you. If you're new here, please like, share and subscribe and support the channel. Any donations that come to the channel on the thanks button will be put straight back into the channel. That's what that's going to be for, so that's appreciated as well. Okay, right, so what do I have to tell you? Well, I've had quite a few strange things, and I'm sorry. There's a lot of movement in this room. There's always somebody sitting on my chair over there, but somebody just came in this side of my vision for some reasons, moving about. And just before I started, there's been a lot. I have to explain some background, so bear with. I'm also an author, which you probably know anyway. And I write under the pen names. I write romance as Arabella Kingsley, and I write young adult under the name Asta Steele. The two names sort of go together as well. I put them both on Amazon. Now, I have found that the young adult books are often channeled messages from the shadow men, okay? Which surprises me at times because they're very detailed, and often in the past I've written them believing I've been getting help writing these stories and that they're important, but I always felt like they were telling me something. In fact, I wrote an extra to one of the books, and this was back in 2011. That was Knight of Swords, and I asked a medium friend to go through it because I knew there was a message in there for me. And yeah, she come out with all of this message through my writing and what my guide was trying to tell me, because he was, although I've had seen things and strange, I'm sorry because I'm looking, there's a lot of activity going on here, strange things for years and years and years since I was a child. I never really knew my guide, exactly who he was, until this story came out, and I rabbit on about it, but I thoroughly enjoyed writing it because I met all my guides and angels through it. And you can get it on Amazon. It's all this one book now because I did 3 to it, but I've put it all as one. I'll put the link in the description. But he is the Knight of Swords, basically. So I shared this relationship after that, writing books with my guides and angels, the shadow men, okay? And to the point that they would dress up as the characters. There was always one character that, well, he wasn't a character. I mean, these guys have come to me in various guises as people that they've been on Earth as. I've had Chief Native American. I've had all sorts of very strange, but elder statesmen from the Victorian era, that kind of really. I've even had a Cavalier in here, and Regency, the works. And it's almost like I have been using their experiences and my own experiences from past lives. That'll be another video at some point. In particular, who I've talked about before, Sarah Elliott, who was somebody I was in the Victorian era when I was, remember, I was murdered 4 times, queen 3 times, apparently. Oh, interesting. So that she was murdered, right? Oh, them's just come and stood behind me. So let me know if you see anything, because there's a lot of activity going on. And she, yeah, it was all about her life. And I wrote a story called Forget Me Not. I had to change the title because it was published by a publisher at the time. And I had to call it Forever Bound because it was tied in with a romance. And now I've got it back. I've got all my books back that I'm putting out myself, and that's out there. And that is a full-on, that is a channeled about my life. I had so many spooky occurrences when I wrote that. You know, I keep thinking, oh, there may be some embellishment, but I don't know. But I know a lot of it was channeled about my life as Sarah Elliott. So you can check that out as well. So this is background to tell you the next part. I then later wrote a story, and I've got all of these different bits to spinning off from Knight of Swords. And at the time when I wrote this other book called Court of Londinium, I did not know it was going to be connected to the Knight of Swords book, but it was, because it became a message. And all of these travels that I tell you about are going down wormholes and tunnels and traveling back in time, came out in this story. And then all these other little parts came off, and they all linked back to Knight of Swords, to the point that the characters from one, even though they were in the future, started appearing in the past and in the present, and it's all interwoven. I haven't finished it yet. I don't know if I'll ever finish it. There's just so much going on. But Court of Londinium is special because I wrote it about a girl who travels from 1987, which was when I was 17, and they kept telling me about how I'm really still 17 in here, that from where I come from as a starseed, I am a child. And that's why they show me as a child and they take care of me. I'm the equivalent of 17 years old, which would make a lot of sense the way I go on at times. But anyway, and that came into the story. And this girl travelled from 1987 into the future. And she did that via somebody who came. And I started seeing this guy when I used to go walking in Ashridge. Every time I went to the woods at Ashridge, which is an ancient forest in Hertfordshire. I live very close by to it. Not now. I'm further up the country now. Not that far away from London, but a little bit further up. So this guy started appearing to me, and I knew it was really important that I had to write it and finish it. And I mean, I'm more a romance novelist. I was really successful at one point as a romance novelist, and it just frustrates me as a young adult because people don't really, a lot of people have wanted the romance side more, which frustrates the life out of me because I want to write these different stories. And so it's hard to build your name. It takes years to build your name. So Asta Steele's a bit, she gets some, you know, people buying her work, and then it's frustrating. But anyway, and I used to write the romance books with like my guides as well, and that was hilarious. I have to say, some of the suggestions it gave me in images. So yes, I collaborate with the Shadow Man because creativity is a big part of life. It's very important for all of us. That's how we progress in life, how we solve problems, and how the world progresses and evolves, okay, through creativity. So it's very important. It was also getting messages out, but this was very important. And this guy kept appearing, and I realised I've been seeing him for years. Long blonde hair. I thought I'd seen a programme on the TV, absolutely loved the character with long blonde hair, and I thought, wow, I'd love to be able to write a character like that. But I forgot about it, and then all of a sudden I decided I was going to do it. And this guy started appearing to me, and long blonde hair. And I wrote the story, and I wrote 4 of them. And one had long dark hair, one had long red hair, one with long blonde hair, and there must have been 2 with dark hair. Because one of them's the prince. Oh no, one of them has short hair. Anyway, that's waffling. I'm not going to waffle on about that. But basically, these guys are very important. And they come into the girl's world because some of their creatures run in there, and then they take her back there for treatment. She's actually got a friend, an American friend as well. It's all very interesting. I know the characters mean something important, because in a lot of them, when I write books, and a lot of writers will tell you, you can't always see the character's face because it's part of you, okay? But I can see these characters, yeah, pretty solidly. And so she ends up going into their world. Well, he's from the future. He didn't recognize the sun. Now, I've been talking a lot about the sun, solar storms, the works. Yeah, the sun is dying. We know that for a fact, okay? Or they say it's a fact anyway. And it's very violent. There's a lot of solar storms, solar flares coming off it and everything. Well, in my story, and I had to do a lot of scientific research on this, and basically the sun is dead, and the planet Earth has been spinning away through space because it's lost its orbit. There's no sun there anymore. It's dead. I may have written it exploded or something like that as well. There is alien involvement, but basically the planet spins off and everything goes to frozen waste. And when she steps through the portal, it's dark. And London, which features very prominently in this, is very, it's covered in snow, it's frozen. You know, I could see this so vividly. The gherkins. So if this is a future prediction, I don't know. I don't honestly know, but I could see this very vividly. And I know there are messages because they're bringing it forward again for me. And they stopped me writing for a year now, which has been very frustrating, but but now they're bringing it forward and they want you to know about it. So the gherkin, the bridge, everything wrecked, broken. I even saw the what do you call it, the wheel, you know, in London. God, I never remember anything when I'm doing these videos. It's because I'm channeling. And lying on the frozen water, everything, really sort of apocalyptic scene, but frozen. And no, you know, the science is that people will die, they won't be able to survive, but they managed to survive because they evolved into mutations. You know, this is where the fantasy bit comes in. The vampires, you know, your zombies, your this, your that, everything, werewolves, the works. And they got alien technology, and basically they moved life to underground, to subterranean. And London, and there are several cities around the world, and they're all underground, are in layers. So now remember, in one of the videos I talked about, they showed me a pyramid shape with layers of people living in it, as layers of consciousness, layers of, you know, living. Yeah, I'm getting ideology, layers of ideology. Okay, but this city, I always wondered if it was about consciousness, because the city is in layers, and I think there are about 12 layers, and they're telling me 2 haven't been discovered yet, so they're going to create more for me. 2 are locked down and dark because of various things that went on, and these were all the stories I was going to write about. And people live in these different layers, but it's very Victorian. There's a steampunk sort of what's the other one, diesel punk vibe to it as well, but it's very diverse in there. There's a lot of different things going on, and so it mirrors the world. And there's a there's an emperor, which is probably me loving Flash Gordon and making him a bit Ming the Merciless. I don't know. But you never really see him. He's in the background somewhere. But there's royalty in the city. There's everything in the high layers and the lower layers, and you know. And this girl has to go in there, and she realizes that, well, as spoilers, sweetie is what's her face says on Doctor Who. Spoilers, sweetie. So basically, I want you to know that because the main character from the city looks after the city, and he's called the Lord Protector. Now, I always believed, once I realised it was a message, that was Archangel Michael, but I got some interesting information yesterday because they've brought that forward for me again. And I've been seeing the characters walk around. I'm calling them characters because I wrote about them, but they're these beings who walk around. I've seen some very strange, definitely alien stuff around, which is kind of scary at night when you're lying in bed. And these people look bigger. I don't know, they're just bigger, really odd. So this is what I channeled. So I got writing will begin again soon. And I'm getting a lot of random sort of words, so I'm just going to read them to you. Vampires. Now, I've been dreaming about vampires again. We went to Birmingham on Friday, and I didn't know if every time I go to a big city or anywhere now, I was amazed at Birmingham. I'd never had a proper walk around Birmingham. I'd only been at the aquarium with my ex-husband, who moaned if he went anywhere else. That's another story. So I never got a good look around Birmingham, but I went with my son and it was brilliant. I absolutely love Birmingham, and we went to the aquarium because I love fish. Anyway, the penguins as well. I'm an absolute fanatic for penguins. So I wondered if they were meaning energy vampires, because when I go to a big city, it doesn't matter where it is, whatever. If you're an empath, you know what I'm talking about. You feel drained, whatever. So I didn't know if they were talking about that because I felt ill that night. I had gone to a dodgy Japanese restaurant, which I thought was going to be really authentic and good, but it was awful. That was the only down on the trip. But I wondered if it was, something like that. I wasn't feeling very well, and but I kept dreaming about vampires and their teeth falling out. But I've dreamt about, I was a very big Buffy fan, Buffy and Angel, and I've dreamt about that last couple of nights. I haven't done that for years. But that usually is that's how my guide used to come in as well, because it will pretend to be characters from TV, whatever you feel comfortable with in a dream, and you'll still get a message from them. So that happened again. So I wondered, they want me to write about vampires again. It said, vampires are around you. Beware, someone does watch. Now, I have been talking about somebody watching, and when I came in on Friday night, it was very strange. I had a couple of glasses of wine, but I was standing at the door with my son. This was late on, and I just suddenly, out of the blue, said, somebody does watch. They come and stand at this door and look in with a hoodie on. So I know I'm being watched somewhere. I've done a couple of videos on that. Someone does watch. A watcher sent. We are on guard. So that's a message from the Shadow Man. Now, I'm having to tell you that. So I'm guessing 1 to 2 people, 1 to 2 of you, are having that same feeling, and it's a spiritual thing. You are being watched because of your gifts. But the Shadow Man will protect you if necessary. So comment below if you're having that experience. We'll talk further about it. Okay. Then they did say to me, now when I channeled this was on the day before Nicola Bulley was found. Hearts and everything go out the family. It's just awful, really, really awful. So I'm very sorry about that. And I got she will be found soon. Okay. And then they went on about, they went straight back to, and well, I'll finish that up. She will be found soon. A body was found hours later or day later. Oh, I can't remember. But it was interesting. Then they went back to the city that I write about in the story. And they said the city is real, which is kind of odd. So maybe in another dimension, in another time, I don't know, multiverse, whatever. Or it could be something that's going to happen in the future. I'm not saying we're going to all evolve into vampires or anything like that. But we could evolve into something different. So I don't know. I'm just surmising here. So the city is real. Now, when I wrote about the city, my tagline, I've even written the script of it. I'll give you details because you can buy it as a series or one full book, and you can buy the screenplay. This is not a plug for it because I gave up on it. This is my excitement of being asked to write again, basically. So you don't have to be interested in it at all. Yeah, I'm not plugging it. But if you are, it's so. And what I put in the message, the tagline, sorry, was in the future, London turns goth and moves underground. Okay, and that's literally what it is. Okay. So the city is real. And then I got, wait for it, that the city I was writing about was actually Atlantis. But there is this possibility it could happen in the future. So I'm really confused, as much as you are probably at this point, about Atlantis. We are and they said Atlantis beings rather than Atlanteans, okay? There are 4 of us. You write about us. You are not one. And they reiterated, I'm from the 10th dimension. We are also angelic spirits, but not of your kind, okay? We deal with the watchers around you, sent over the internet. So, yeah. Okay, there are 5 of them. We watch them with the 3 seraphim angels who I know are around me. Now, they always tell me there are 4 seraphim, but basically 3 of them are off with these beings at the moment, and 1 is staying with me. Then I got the name Peter. Now, again, I thought the Lord Protector of the city is called Darius Constantine. Okay, now Peter is his name, Darius. So, but I still get this vibe of Archangel Michael, or he has a role like that where he comes from. So, and then I saw something very strange. They were on the sea. They were walking across the sea, but it was very odd. It wasn't like they were sort of floating on top. It was very odd. It was like their feet were in the sea, but they weren't in the sea. Oh, very strange. And then they went onto this platform in the middle of a sea. All right, okay, the Black Sea. The Black Sea. And it was like a square, but in the middle, it had a big X, like, just like that, okay? And I got X marks the spot, okay? And then I saw a bridge, not to do with this image. The images change so fast, and they've started to change a lot faster, especially in this channeling. And they actually changed shape by the end of it. They changed their fluidity, they changed their composition, everything. It was very, very odd, very fluidic, they're telling me, very organic looking. So anyway, I can describe it. Saw a bridge, not the San Francisco Bridge. I've started to see a lot of different bridges. And then I saw a platform, and now the bridge I think is referring to the connection between worlds again. The platform went down into the sea and they were standing at each edge, but they weren't getting wet. And this was then I saw under this bridge, nondescript bridge, a very big bridge, but I don't know. Okay. As I'm telling you that, I'm getting me walking across that wooden one and the destruction and cloud of dust. That's great, isn't it? Coming behind me. This dust, bits of dust, and it's getting rid of the bridge as I walk across it. It's very strange. Then I saw a destroyer ship. It's down on the bottom. It was resting on some sand. Then I saw me going down on the platform and a city rising. Now, the only way I can describe this city rising out of the water, which they sort of referred me to, it was like a bit like Stargate Atlantis with a city, but it was different, and it had all of this lightning coming down hitting the spires of this city. Very strange. And then all of a sudden it started to look very small, and there was a shark going towards it. It was under the water again, and there was a shark going towards it. The destroyer under the water was visible again, and then it was, I could see these beings as if they were looking through, you know, these tanks at the aquarium. That's what they used, the image. Just been blue light across my shoulder. A big tank where you can look down and then you could bend down and look through the water. But they were sort of on the top, and I couldn't see them clearly, but it was almost like I was looking out of the tank up at them. And I keep getting, I've had channelings where I'm looking into the world from an industrial looking place and a window. It was very odd. But it was the other way around, and everything was small, and it was like a fish tank. Okay, then I saw a submarine, and then a platform with an X, but like a cross this time. And it was red. Now I keep saying that symbol of red. The closest I can come to about that is the like the St. George's cross. So that would say England to me. But I don't know if you've got any. It could. I mean, it's a red cross as well, isn't it? So I don't know. Then I wrote down, I still believe Peter is actually Archangel Michael. Then I saw Dorothy in the Wizard of Oz. Then, very interestingly, I heard War of the Worlds. Somebody said that, and it comes from the sea. And the best way I can describe this thing, very spider-like, which, because you know I don't like them. Get that thing off. Oh my God, I'm sorry, but I freaking get it off. Thank you. Put one on me. They've been doing that recently. Every time I'm afraid of something or I need to take action on something, they will say it's a fear I have to deal with. Just around me. Anyway, not huge. This thing, okay, very much like that, and they're showing it to me, that gimbal thing. You know, those alien things that have been, you know, terrorizing places, and the ship, the American ship, yeah? For real, UFO. But it comes out the sea and it has these legs that come up, and it's huge. They've shown that camera on the tripod just clicked there when I said it, to confirm it. It's massive, and it comes onto the beach, and then that's like a reference to War of the Worlds. But this thing, it stays in the sea a lot, and it comes out so far sometimes, and then it changes its legs. Sometimes they're spindly, sometimes they're thick. Okay, and oh, that's really weird. Sorry, the TV's down behind me, and I've just seen something that they show me, a fob watch, and then a load of money coming down. So somebody's coming in to a windfall. Economy, to do with the economy as well, but there's going to be a windfall. They show me cash, loads of cash. maybe somebody's coming into a windfall of money. And they're saying economy, something to do with the economy as well. So, but this thing, really awful. And then I heard, they watch from the sea, we watch them. Satellite data is retrieved for their ends. Now, they've mentioned that before. Then I got mindful of their retreat. Then, as I was doing the channeling, I put my hand out because I knew somebody was sort of, I always say they're sitting in me or sitting on top of me, writing, or they're communicating with me. And I put my hand out there and it was like a glass ball. What did I say? Ball. On my hand, and then they went and it flew off and smashed somewhere. It was very odd, so I don't know what that's a reference to. Gosh, at this rate, these may run into 3 videos. So, because I want to keep them shorter, otherwise they just go on too long. So I'm going to finish with this bit. I then saw a pyramid on top of the water, which I keep saying. But I had this very strange, my drawings are horrendous. I can't draw to save my life. But it was like the entrance to somewhere, like a city or somewhere. And very elaborate entrance with these steps. And I saw the 4 guys, the blonde haired one, going down the steps. And there was a guy standing there. He always looks African. Yeah, very thin, lovely, really nice. Standing there with an elaborate headdress on, everything, and holding a staff. He never spoke, never said a word. And then they get on a train, which is like a tram. It's really interesting how they use images from my everyday life. And what I've noticed sometimes is I see these images and I know I meant to see these images. And so it bounces both ways. It's used both ways. It's constant messaging. I've noticed things I saw when I was very young that I never understood why I liked or kept seeing. And then years and years later, they made sense. And I always get the impression that I may have been young, but they started messaging me straight away the minute we landed, kind of thing. And to them, time is passing very, very slowly. But for me, not slowly. Yeah, very slowly, where time is speeded up more for me. But they're giving me the messages I need for further down the line. And they often do that. They can give me messages. I've done that in readings as well. You get odd messages and then it can be months, even years later. And, oh, that's what that means. And you've had to catch up to them. Very odd. So, goodness knows what that is. But they get on this tram. And this is what I'm going to leave you with, because I have seen this off and on for quite a few years now. But it took on a different form to start with. So they get on a tram, but it's futuristic. I can't describe it to you. It's just very futuristic. They're on there. They're holding on to, the poles on there to help you keep upright if you're standing. And it moves off. And then I am suddenly there. And there's this being. I've talked about these beings before, and the only way I can describe them is they look like they've jumped out of an X-ray. They are an X-ray. They have very thin legs. They have a sort of pointy face. I first saw one ages ago. There was something like that in my room once. Oh, it was horrible. I've seen some very odd things, and they've told me not to worry about it. They'll deal with it. But it's very unnerving to see some of them being huge. But this is like a humanoid shape. And I couldn't dream up anything like this for a book. It's just, no. And it's very pointy thing, pointy face. I couldn't see any eyes. There's some sort of dark bit to it on the front. But it's the body that freaks me out. Very spindly, and as if it's an X-ray. You know what I mean? Of a body, but it's thin and spindly, and it moves very fast, because all of a sudden the tram changed into where I'd first seen this image years ago. They'd shown me of a London tube. Just London all the time. So I don't know. I know there are floods coming to London. I've been told that in high tides, but I'm not sure it's to do with all of that. But very spindly amongst all of these people, and they referred me to that movie They Live, and I'll explain about that in the next video. I got directed to that by another person on YouTube called Spiritual Healer, who was absolutely brilliant, and because she got a message, and she gets lots of messages that just resonate with me. She's great. So I get on the tube with them. I suddenly appear there. I'm with them. This thing is down the bottom, and it's just like a movie. They start chasing, and I start chasing, and I'm at the front, and I'm chasing this thing, which is hilarious. But yeah, as me chasing it. And then we get off the tube, it gets off the tube, and it goes amongst the people. I'm still chasing it. It moves like lightning, faster than lightning. It's just faster than lightning. It's just whatever that is. Speed of sound, I don't know. Not my forte, remember. And it's so odd. But I had that ages ago. So I don't know what that reference is. But I'm going to leave it here. I'll record part 2. Because otherwise I think it's just too much information, and people will switch off. I'll switch off too. So I'm going to start making them shorter and in different bits. So if you have any ideas, remember we are interpreting this together as well. I get insights that give me more information all the time. Let me know. Okay, so if you haven't liked, shared or subscribed, please do so. And thank you for watching again. Thank you for your support, and I shall see you in part 2. Take care. Bye.